Maya's hand shook as she held her phone in the big kitchen of the Henderson mansion. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't know her boss, Mr. Alexander Henderson, was walking past the door. "Aunt Carol, please. There must be another way." Maya's voice cracked like breaking glass. Alexander stopped. He shouldn't listen, but something in her voice made his feet freeze. "I understand," Maya whispered, her words tumbling out fast. "Grandma says I need a boyfriend, a real committed boyfriend, by tomorrow's hearing, or Derek gets everything. The house, the memories, all of it." Alexander's eyebrows shot up. A boyfriend by tomorrow? That was impossible. Maya wiped her eyes with her sleeve. "I've been so busy working here, taking care of Mr. Henderson's home, I haven't had time to date anyone. Now I have 24 hours, or I lose Grandma Clara's house forever." Her voice dropped to almost nothing. "That house is where Grandma taught me to bake cookies, where she held me when Mom died, where every wall has her love painted on it. Derek doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to sell it and take the money." Alexander leaned against the hallway wall. He'd employed Maya for 6 months. She made his enormous, lonely mansion feel warm. She hummed while arranging flowers. She left little notes reminding him to eat lunch. She asked about his day like she actually cared. He'd noticed her kindness, her bright smile, her intelligence. But he was her boss. Rich, powerful, 38-year-old tech millionaires didn't date their housekeepers. People would talk. They'd say terrible things about her. But now, she was crying in his kitchen, about to lose everything. "I can't do it," Maya sobbed into the phone. "I can't find someone real in one day. And I won't lie to the lawyers. Grandma raised me better than that." Alexander's heart hammered. An idea formed in his mind. Crazy, dangerous, impossible. "I have to go, Aunt Carol," Maya said sadly. "I'll figure something out. Somehow." She hung up and buried her face in her hands. Alexander stepped into the kitchen doorway. "Maya." She jumped like a scared rabbit, spinning around. Her face turned bright red. "Mr. Henderson, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't make personal calls during work. I heard," he said quietly, walking closer. Maya's eyes went wide with horror. "Oh no, I'm so embarrassed. Please, I want to help." The words hung in the air like magic spell. Maya blinked. "What?" Alexander took a deep breath. His logical brain screamed that this was foolish. His heart pushed him forward anyway. "I'll be your boyfriend for the hearing tomorrow." Maya's mouth fell open. She stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "You what?" "No, Mr. Henderson, I couldn't possibly." "It's Alexander," he interrupted gently. "And yes, you need help. I can provide it. But you're my boss. You're a millionaire. Maya gestured at him helplessly. "You." He almost smiled. "Last time I checked, millionaires can date housekeepers." "People will think I'm using you for money," Maya whispered, fear filling her eyes. "They'll say horrible things about me. About us. Let them talk." Alexander's voice turned hard as steel. "Your grandmother's house matters more than gossip." Maya shook her head frantically. "This is insane. We barely know each other beyond good morning, and here's your coffee. No lawyer will believe we're actually together. We know each other better than you think." Alexander pulled out a kitchen chair and sat down, looking up at her. "You take your coffee with exactly 2 sugars and a splash of cream. You're allergic to strawberries. You call your Aunt Carol every Sunday at 3 o'clock. You hum old jazz songs when you're happy. Your favorite color is sunflower yellow because it reminds you of your grandmother's kitchen curtains." Maya's eyes filled with fresh tears. You noticed all that?" "I notice everything about you, Maya." The confession escaped before he could stop it. Silence stretched between them like a rubber band about to snap. "Why would you do this?" Maya asked in a tiny voice. "Risk your reputation? Get tangled in my family mess?" Alexander stood up and looked directly into her brown eyes. "Because in 6 months, you've made this cold mansion feel like a home. Because you leave me notes reminding me I'm human. not just a machine that makes money. Because someone who loves their grandmother's house that much deserves to keep it. He paused, then added more softly, and because nobody should face Derek Williams alone. I've seen men like your cousin before. Greedy, mean. They take and never give back. Maya bit her lip, thinking hard. Alexander could see the war happening behind her eyes. Hope fighting fear, desperation wrestling with pride. What if we get caught lying? She whispered. Then we tell the truth, Alexander said firmly. That we care about each other. That we've been growing closer. That we're exploring a relationship. But that's not really true, isn't it? Alexander interrupted quietly. Maya, I've been finding excuses to walk past the kitchen just to hear you hum. I deliberately forget lunch, so you'll scold me and make me a sandwich. I look forward to coming home because you're here. Pink colored Maya's cheeks. Really? Really? He extended his hand. So, will you let me help you save your grandmother's house? Maya stared at his hand. Her whole future balanced on this moment. Shake hands with her millionaire boss and enter a dangerous pretend relationship, or refuse and lose everything Grandma Clara left behind. She thought of the yellow kitchen curtains, the cookie recipes written in shaky handwriting, the front porch where Grandma had rocked her to sleep during thunderstorms. Maya reached out and gripped Alexander's hand. Okay, she breathed. Let's do this crazy thing. Alexander smiled, a real, warm smile she'd never seen before. Then we have 24 hours to become the most convincing couple anyone's ever seen. Neither of them knew that tomorrow's hearing would change everything, that pretending would become real, that a desperate plea for help would transform into something neither expected. The kitchen clock ticked toward tomorrow. Their impossible deadline had begun. Alexander didn't waste a single second. We need a story, he said, still holding Maya's hand. How we met, when we started dating, why we kept it secret. Maya pulled her hand back gently, her mind spinning. The lawyers will ask questions. Hard questions. What if we mess up? We won't. Alexander's confidence felt like a warm blanket. Let's start simple. The truth is easiest to remember. We met 6 months ago when you started working here. We talked every day. We grew closer. 3 months ago, something changed. But nothing changed 3 months ago, Maya protested. Didn't it? Alexander tilted his head. 3 months ago, you brought me soup when I was sick. You stayed late, even though I told you to go home. You sat with me and told me stories about your grandmother to distract me from feeling awful. Maya remembered that night. Mr. Henderson, Alexander, had looked so different without his fancy suit, just regular pajamas and messy hair. Human, real. She wanted to take care of him. I remember, she whispered. That's when I started falling for you, Alexander said simply. Maya's heart did a strange flip. Was he still pretending? Or... She pushed the thought away. Focus. Grandma's house. Tomorrow's hearing. Okay, she said, forcing her voice to stay steady. 3 months ago, we realized we liked each other. But we kept it secret because you're my boss. Exactly. Alexander nodded. We've been very careful. No one knows. But we're ready to be honest now because your inheritance depends on it. They spent the next 2 hours planning every detail. Favorite dates, walking in Alexander's garden at sunset. First kiss by the fountain under the stars. Never mind that it never happened. Pet names, he'd call her Sunshine. She'd call him Alex. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from cousin Derek. Can't wait for tomorrow's hearing. That house will look great when I sell it. Thanks for nothing, Maya. Anger burned in Maya's chest. Derek had never visited Grandma Clara when she was sick, never helped when she needed groceries. He only showed up after she died, asking about money. Let me see that. Alexander read the message, his jaw tightening. He's already counting his money. That tells me everything I need to know about Derek Williams. He's not a good person, Maya said quietly, but he's family. Grandma's requires me to have a committed boyfriend to inherit because she worried I was too lonely, too focused on work. She wanted me to have love in my life, not just an empty house. Your grandmother sounds like she was very wise, Alexander said softly. She was the best person I ever knew. Tears threatened again, but Maya blinked them away, which is why lying to honor her memory feels so wrong. Alexander took both her hands this time. Maya, look at me. Are we lying? We do care about each other. We are exploring something real here, even if it started in an unusual way. The timing is rushed, yes, but the feelings, those are honest. Before Maya could answer, Alexander's phone rang. His face went serious. It's my lawyer. I need to take this. He stepped away, speaking in low tones. Maya heard fragments. Yes, the inheritance hearing tomorrow. No, it's not what you think. Just trust me on this. When Alexander returned, he looked worried for the first time. My lawyer thinks this is risky. If anyone proves we're faking, you could lose the inheritance and face legal trouble for fraud. Fear squeezed Maya's throat. Maybe we shouldn't. We're doing this, Alexander interrupted firmly. But we need to be smarter. Tomorrow, we tell only the truth. We've known each other 6 months. We've grown close. We're beginning a relationship. All true statements. That night, Maya barely slept. She tossed and turned in her small bedroom in the mansion staff wing, imagining tomorrow's disaster. Derek would smirk. Lawyers would ask impossible questions. Everyone would see through their act. Morning came too fast. Alexander picked her up in his black Mercedes at 8 o'clock sharp. He wore a perfect navy suit. She'd chosen a simple yellow dress for Grandma, who loved yellow. You look beautiful, Alexander said, and something in his voice made Maya think he meant it. You look terrified, Maya replied honestly. I am. He started driving, but not of the hearing. I'm terrified of letting you down. The lawyer's office was all dark wood and serious faces. Aunt Carol hugged Maya tight. Are you sure about this, sweetheart? I'm sure, Maya lied. Or was it a lie? She wasn't sure anymore. Then Derek arrived. He was tall, slick, wearing an expensive watch. His smile reminded Maya of a shark. Well, little Maya actually found a boyfriend. How convenient. Derek, be nice, Aunt Carol warned. Oh, I'm curious, that's all. Derek's eyes slid to Alexander. And who's the lucky guy? Do we know him? Maya's mouth went dry. This was it, the moment of truth. Alexander stepped forward and extended his hand. Alexander Henderson, Maya's employer, and her boyfriend. Derek's face went through 5 emotions at once: shock, anger, suspicion, jealousy, and rage. He ignored Alexander's hand. Her boss. Derek's voice rose. Oh, this is too perfect. You're telling me Maya suddenly has a boyfriend, and it's the millionaire she works for? The day before the inheritance hearing. We've been together for months, Maya said, her voice shaking only a little. We kept it private. How romantically convenient. Derek laughed, but it wasn't a nice sound. I'm calling fraud. No judge will believe this. Watch your tone, Alexander said, his voice dropping to something cold and dangerous. You're speaking about the woman I love. Everyone froze. Maya's heart stopped. Had he just said? Derek's face turned purple. Love? You met her 6 months ago. That's more than enough time, Alexander replied calmly. When you meet the right person. A lawyer in a gray suit cleared his throat. Shall we begin? Everyone, please sit. The hearing room felt too small and too big at the same time. A judge, a tired-looking woman with sharp eyes, reviewed papers. Derek sat across from them, glaring. Aunt Carol looked worried. Miss Johnson, the judge began, your grandmother's will has an unusual clause. It states that you must be in a committed, genuine romantic relationship to inherit her estate. Can you confirm you meet this requirement? Maya's hands trembled under the table. Alexander found them and squeezed gently. Yes, Your Honor, Maya said. I'm in a relationship with Alexander Henderson. And how long have you known Mr. Henderson? 6 months, Your Honor. Derek jumped up. 6 months. And they worked together. This is obviously fake. She's desperate, and he's... Mr. Williams, sit down, the judge ordered sharply. You'll have your turn. Derek sat, but his eyes promised revenge. The judge turned to Alexander. Mr. Henderson, you're a wealthy man. Why would you risk your reputation by entering a relationship with your employee right before a convenient inheritance hearing? This was it. The question that could destroy everything. Alexander stood up slowly. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but everyone heard every word. Your Honor, I didn't fall in love with Maya yesterday. I've been falling for her 3 months. Since the night she stayed late to bring me soup when I was sick. She didn't have to do that. I'm her boss. She could have just gone home. But Maya doesn't think like that. She sees people, not positions. She cares, truly cares, about everyone around her. He looked at Maya, and she saw something in his eyes that made her breath catch. I tried to ignore my feelings, Alexander continued. The power imbalance, the age difference, what people would think. All of it told me to stay away. But Maya makes my house a home. She makes me want to be better. And life's too short to ignore that kind of connection. The room was completely silent. So yes, Alexander finished, the timing looks suspicious, but the feelings are real, and I'm not ashamed of them. The judge studied them both for a long, terrible moment. I'll need to ask you both some questions. Separately. Maya's stomach dropped. Separately meant they couldn't help each other. Derek smiled like he'd already won. The dangerous pretend was about to be tested, and Maya wasn't sure they'd survive it. The judge pointed at Alexander. Mr. Henderson, please come with me to the next room. Maya's hand tightened around his. Alexander squeezed back once, then let go. As he walked away, Maya felt like her lifeline was disappearing. Derek leaned across the table, whispering, You're going to lose everything, Maya, just like you deserve. That's enough. And Carol snapped at him. Derek Williams, your own grandmother would be ashamed of you. Maya sat alone, her heart pounding so hard she could hear in her ears. What would they ask Alexander? Would their stories match? Had they practiced enough? 15 minutes felt like 15 hours. Finally, Alexander returned. His face was impossible to read. The judge gestured for Maya. Miss Johnson, your turn. Maya stood on shaky legs and followed the judge into a small office. Just the two of them. Sit down, please, the judge said, not unkindly. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want honest answers. Not what you think I want to hear. The truth. Yes, Your Honor, Maya whispered. When did you first realize you had feelings for Mr. Henderson? Maya closed her eyes, and suddenly she wasn't pretending anymore. She remembered the soup night. How Alexander had smiled at her stories about Grandma. How he'd said, Your grandmother raised an amazing person. How her heart had done that strange flip. 3 months ago, Maya said quietly, he was sick, and I brought him soup. He didn't act like my boss that night. He was just Alex, a regular person who needed someone to care. And I wanted to be that someone. Did he pressure you into this relationship? Use his position as your employer? No. Maya's eyes flew open. Never. Alex has always been respectful. Sometimes too respectful. I thought maybe he didn't notice me at all. Not like that. The judge made a note. What's his favorite breakfast? Maya blinked at the random question. Oh, scrambled eggs with black pepper, wheat toast, and coffee. Black, no sugar. But on Sundays, he sneaks chocolate pancakes when he thinks I'm not watching. A tiny smile crossed the judge's face. And what does he do that annoys you? He forgets to eat lunch. Maya said, emotion flooding out. He gets so focused on work, he skips meals. I have to remind him he's human. Sometimes I make him sandwiches and physically put them in front of him, or he'd just starve at his computer. You care about him, the judge observed. Maya stopped. Did she? Was this still pretend, or had something real grown, without her noticing? Yes, I do. He's brilliant and kind and lonely, and he deserves someone who sees all of him, not just his money. The judge studied her for a long moment. One more question. If you don't get the inheritance, if I rule against you right now, Would you still pursue a relationship with Mr. Henderson? Maya's breath caught. That was the real question, wasn't it? Was Alexander just a means to save Grandma's house? Or was he something more? She thought about his smile when she hummed in the kitchen, the way he'd started forgetting lunch just so she'd scold him, how he'd said, "The woman I love," in front of everyone. Yes, Maya said, and realized she meant it. Even if I lose everything today, I'd still want to see where this goes with Alex. He's worth it. The judge nodded. You can go back now. Maya returned to the hearing room on trembling legs. Alexander stood immediately, searching her face. Are you okay? I don't know, she whispered honestly. Everyone sat. The judge reviewed her notes. Derek looked smug. Aunt Carol clutched her purse. Alexander held Maya's hand under the table. I've made my decision, the judge announced. Maya stopped breathing. Mr. Williams raised concerns about the timing and authenticity of this relationship. Those concerns are valid on the surface. Derek grinned. However, the judge continued, after speaking with both parties separately, I'm convinced that Ms. Johnson and Mr. Henderson share a genuine connection. Their answers were consistent, detailed, and emotionally honest. More importantly, they demonstrated real knowledge of and care for each other. Derek's grin died. The will's requirement was for a committed, genuine relationship. I believe that requirement has been met. Miss Johnson, your grandmother's estate is yours. Maya gasped. Tears exploded from her eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Derek slammed his hand on the table. This is garbage. She's playing everyone. She probably coached him on all the answers. Mr. Williams. The judge said icily, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know the difference between rehearsed lies and real feelings. Case closed. Derek stormed out, shouting threats that no one listened to. Aunt Carol hugged Maya tight. Your grandma would be so proud. Sweetheart. So proud. The lawyer handed Maya papers to sign. Alexander stood nearby, giving her space but staying close. When the paperwork was done, when Aunt Carol finally left, it was just the two of them in the parking lot. We did it, Maya said, still not quite believing it. Grandma's house is safe. You did it, Alexander corrected gently. Your honesty, your love for your grandmother, that's what won. Awkward silence fell between them. The hearing was over. The pretend relationship had served its purpose. Now what? I should probably resign, Maya said quietly, staring at her shoes. Find another job. We can't keep working together if we're supposedly dating. People will talk. Maya, look at me. She raised her eyes. Alexander's face was serious, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen. In that room, I told the judge I was falling in love with you. I want you to know that wasn't part of the act. Maya's heart forgot how to beat. I've been fighting my feelings for months, Alexander continued, words tumbling out fast now. Telling myself it was inappropriate, that you'd think I was taking advantage, that the world would judge us. But then you needed help, and I realized I'd use any excuse to be close to you. Alex, let me finish, please. He took a shaky breath. I'm giving you a choice. Right now, I prepared a severance package. 6 months salary, excellent references. You can walk away clean, no strings attached. Or, Maya whispered, or we try this for real, not because of inheritance hearings or legal requirements. Just you and me exploring what we feel. Real dates, real conversations, real everything. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. Severance papers. Take them if you want to leave. I'll understand completely. Maya stared at the envelope, then at Alexander's face, hopeful and terrified and honest. She thought about the past 6 months, the little moments, the growing warmth, how he'd noticed her favorite color and her Sunday phone calls, how he'd risked everything to help her. She thought about the judge's question. Would you still pursue this relationship without the inheritance? Maya took the envelope. Alexander's face fell. She ripped it in half. I don't want to leave, she said, her voice steady and sure. I want option 2. Real dates, real conversations, real everything. Hope exploded across Alexander's face like sunrise. Really? Really? Maya smiled through happy tears. But we're doing this right. I'm resigning as your housekeeper today. I'll work somewhere else while we date. No power imbalance. No weirdness. Just two people figuring out if they fit. You do that for a chance at something real with you? Yes. Alexander laughed, pure, joyful, free. Okay. But I have one condition. What? Let me take you on a proper first date. Tonight, somewhere nice. Maya pretended to think about it. Will there be chocolate pancakes? If you want chocolate pancakes at the fanciest restaurant in town, I will personally ensure there are chocolate pancakes. Then yes, Alex, I'd love to go on a real date with you. He stepped closer and Maya's breath caught. Can I kiss you? For real this time, not for lawyers or judges. Yes, she breathed. Alexander cupped her face gently and kissed her. It was soft and sweet and perfect. Nothing like the fake fountain kiss from their made-up story. This was real. When they broke apart, both were smiling like crazy people. I still can't believe this is happening, Maya said. Believe it, sunshine. Alexander used a nickname they'd invented, but now it felt true. You needed a boyfriend by tomorrow, and somehow, impossibly, you got someone who actually wants to be your boyfriend forever. Forever's a big word, Maya teased. Then how about we start with tonight and see where it goes? Deal. As they drove away from the lawyer's office, Maya looked at the man beside her, her former boss, her pretend boyfriend, her maybe real future. Grandma's house was saved. Derek was defeated. And somehow, in the middle of desperation and impossible deadlines, Maya had found something she wasn't even looking for. Real love. Sometimes the most unexpected decisions lead to the most beautiful outcomes. Maya walked into that kitchen, needing a fake boyfriend, and walked out with something real. If you enjoyed their journey from desperate plea to genuine love, drop a like and share this story with someone who believes in second chances and surprising connections. Subscribe for more tales where impossible deadlines create unexpected miracles, and where the heart finds what it needs exactly when it needs it most. What would you do if you overheard someone's desperate confession? Let us know in the comments below.